Hey there, I just want to say yoga can be for everyone. However, it is your responsibility to determine if you are ready and able to perform this workout video. If you or a family member have a history of heart disease, high blood pressure, or are obese with any physical or medical condition that could be aggravated by a physical activity, please consult a physician before proceeding. If you are pregnant, also consider consulting a physician. If you have any history of injury such as neck, back, shoulder, or knee, please proceed with caution and stop immediately if you feel any pain, lightheadedness, or nausea. The user assumes all risks. Thanks, and I'll see you on the mat. Hi everyone, and welcome back to Connection Yoga. My name is Kat, and we are today together to break down a new yoga pose. So, this is one that I personally don't do very often, but I have seen more and more, and I wanted to do it because looking into its benefits, its goals, it is just the best hybrid of two of my favorite poses. So maybe it will grow to be one of yours and mine together today. The pose I'm referring to is puppy pose. So it's perfect that we've got our baby puppy Roscoe with us today. He sometimes imitates this, but I would say he's more of a downward facing dog, upward facing dog instead of puppy yoga man. So whatever you are, we are going to break it down today. We'll talk about the main alignment and then talk about a couple modifications because everybody is different, and so the way that I present this may not work exactly for your body or feel good. So stay connected, and if something doesn't feel great, then it's probably not something you should do. So notice if maybe something feels a little funky and come out, reset, always reevaluating your own body. It's like coming home over and over to ourselves. So first, I'm going to quickly demonstrate this heart opening pose, and then I'm going to break it down, and you can feel free to join with me at that time. So this is puppy pose. So as you can already see, if you have any sort of background information in yoga, that this is somewhere in between a downward facing dog and child's pose. So these are the two poses before that I was referring to that are amazing and in every yoga sequence that I do in my personal practice and with others. So child's pose is a predominantly hip and spine lengthening resting pose, whereas downward facing dog is much more active. So you're lifted up onto your hands and off of your knees, still lengthening the low back how we want in child's pose, but the legs and the hamstrings are much more active here, as is the core. So we meet in the middle of active and ease with puppy pose. So to get into this pose, come into tabletop on all fours. Shoulders over wrist, knees under hips, flat spine. We'll take a few cat-cow together to warm up your spine. So drop your belly like a hammock and lift your gaze, tailbone up. Inhale. Exhale, puff up the back the other direction, reach to the sky, cat pose. Inhale, lower again, soft bend in the elbows, shoulder blades slide down the back, collarbones open. Exhale, cat pose, side body lifts you as you push the earth away. Two more. Inhale, lower, lift the gaze. Exhale, push up to cat. One more. Inhale. Exhale. Come back to a neutral spine and do a little C curve, drawing your shoulder and hip kind of together, one side at a time. Our spine has 6 movements. Flexion and extension, which is cat-cow. Lateral curving, which is what we're doing now, so a side-to-side motion. And then a twist. So what you can do is big toes to touch, widen your knees for child's pose and sink back. And thread your right arm under your left arm for a threaded child's pose, just to get a little gentle twist and fully wake up our spine. Breathe here. Unthread your right arm and reach it an inch longer forward, then thread your left arm under, shoulder and temple to the earth, gentle twist. Breathe into your backside body. Inhale, unthread the arm, reach it 1 more inch longer. Fold your forehead back down. Take 1 more breath in child's pose. And start to walk your hands in towards your knees, lifting your chest up and coming to a gentle kneeling position on your heels. Lift your shoulders to your ears. Inhale. Exhale, drop shoulder blades into your back pockets. Again, inhale, squish it all up. Exhale, lower the ears. Just 1 more. And let it go. Take a few little shoulder circles rounding around to the back. And then take a few going forward, just to start to loosen up our shoulder girdle. All right, now let's do puppy pose. So come up back onto all fours. Your feet are at the back of your mat. Legs are hip width, tops of the feet facing down. Knees are stacked directly under the hips, and we want to keep it there. So tailbone is gently tucked to create a flat spine all the way. And then we start to reach our arms forward all the way to the front and lower our chest and forehead down towards the earth. Being mindful that your hips stay over your knees, so you can look back at your body and see, are you a little more back? Are you a little too far forward? And just kind of adjust to where your hips can be over your knees. All right, so your upper body is active here. Fingers are spread with your pointer fingers at 12 o'clock. Push your palms into the earth and use your core to lift you long. So the hips are subtly, intrinsically reaching back to the heels. Again, they're stacked over the knees, so this is more of an internal energy kind of lifting sensation that the core assists with. So be mindful to draw your core in to protect the spine. You don't want to hunch all the way and barrel out your low back. Staying flat and active will help to lengthen and strengthen your spine simultaneous. Now this is a gentle, relaxing back bend, but it's very subtle. The back bend more comes from the upper body lengthening. So you can come out if that feels like a little bit much. It's pretty active in the arms. And that's where we get the difference between child's and this. The upper body is active, the lower body is not. Compared to down dog, upper body is active, lower body is not as active. But again, like I said, subtle intrinsic action. So your forehead can rest gently on the earth. Relax your neck, but your arms and your shoulders stay active, as is your chest. So you're melting your chest closer to the earth, trying to get as long as you can. Maybe a soft bend in the elbows. You don't want to hyperextend them in or lock them out. So that is the general positioning of this posture. It's pretty straightforward. Just take the upper body kind of arms of down dog and put it in a kneeling half tabletop. If that makes any sense. Hopefully this does so far. If not, thank you for sticking with me. Anyway, that is puppy pose as we know it. So, option though to bring in some blocks if you like. So if that was a little bit too much, or if you're a larger chested front side person, then you might need a little more space between you and the earth to fit, and that is so cool. That's okay. So just bring blocks out. You can do this in down dog as well, but here it makes a little more sense since you're setting up kneeling already. All right, and then instead, hands are on the blocks and you lower. Maybe the forehead comes to the earth, maybe it's gently lifted, or if it feels right, bring a blanket in under your forehead. So I don't have one here right now, but imagine that I did, and it made a little pillow for my face to rest on. All right, just be careful that you don't overextend your shoulder joint here. If you're trying this with blocks and you have space still between you and the earth, because it does lift you up a little bit more so that your heart can melt a little deeper. But again, be mindful. So, also what you can do if you're feeling a little bit of action on your knees, you can always put a blanket underneath them. You can also put a bolster in between your legs here, and that can help give a little release sensation by you having that inner space filled for your squeezing as your hips are reaching back and your thighs turning in. All right, so just a couple things that you could bring in, just explore blocks, props, and your body. So that is puppy pose. Generally, another variation that you could take is bending one arm at a time. So extending long with your forehead. You can take a bend in one arm, bringing your hand kind of towards the other, focusing on the length, more active in one side body and supporting your weight with the other arm. So it makes it a little less active for both sides if you need to strengthen one arm at a time or want to take this to a little more restoration. That is how you can do so. That is puppy pose. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, please put it in the comment section below. If you have anything else to say, I definitely see it and I will check it out and respond to you. Also, if you liked what we did today, please hit the like button and subscribe if you'd like more content and aren't already. Also, just remember we have our live Wednesday practice together at 7 p.m. each week. Would love to see you there, so come check us out. Otherwise, have a beautiful day and namaste.